This is Module 8, Leading with a Moral Compass. The first article that I read talked about just what a moral compass is. It was explained like if you were to go out in the wilderness, you need a compass to survive, but in the business world or in any workplace, really, a moral compass is also needed to survive in that situation as well. Integrity is important, trustworthiness is important, and above all, your moral compass cannot waver. It can't be shaky. It's got to have a true north or a true south. Our culture is pushing an idea that the line between right and wrong is so thin that it is blurry. But we have to remember that there is a right and wrong. We can't just do what society says, and you can't assume that what society is saying is always going to be correct. He said also, I like this last little quote he had where he said, your life is your own business until you become a leader. Then it's no longer your business anymore. Having a moral compass, the second video that I watched, it said part of what sets our moral compass is how we were raised. And then he listed four things that we should always take into consideration when we're making our own moral compass, which was number one, always put people first in your moral decisions. You know that people are going to be affected by your decisions, so you've got to put them first. He went on to talk about if you're in a cheating scandal in a business or something like that, or you're stealing or something, that's going to put people out of jobs. You're not putting people first in your decisions. Respect individual dignity. He had a pretty funny story with that, where his father didn't understand why he couldn't get math, or he couldn't understand math, so he just kind of yelled at him and stuff. But don't take people's dignity away just because they're not understanding something. They're probably good at something else. Treat everybody fairly. There's no exceptions to that. And then always tell the truth. Take time to reflect on your moral compass. Be clear with your values. And this kind of goes back to our first one. We're not going to let our moral compass waver. We know that there's a difference between right and wrong. You just got to be clear with that. Moral emotions. This was the next video. Our moral emotions in the heat of the moment are based on emotions and intuitions. A lot of people think that decisions are calculated, but a lot of time that they're not. Guilt, shame, embarrassment push people to sway towards the norms of culture. Emotions can help you make positive or negative decisions. For example, littering. A positive emotion would be feeling guilt if you're littering, versus an emotion such as lust, for example, could make somebody want to cheat. And I think that's the example that they used in the video, cheating in a relationship or something. Sympathy, compassion, and empathy encourage helping others. Empathy, they said, was the most important. And then it says, finally, we can override our emotions with a strong moral compass to make good ethical decisions. But we have to have that moral compass set in stone before we even get into these situations. Otherwise, it's going to be all emotions. Next, setting your moral compass true north. Having a heart in the right place is the first step in creating a moral compass. Think about others before you think about yourself. That's something that we've already talked about in other ones. Treat others the way you want to be treated. That's the golden rule, right? So that's obviously going to be a part of your moral compass. Look at the net benefits when making decisions. What's best for everyone. Sometimes you have to make decisions where it's not going to be good for some person, but being able to look at the net benefit, see if it's good for everybody in the end. That's a big decision that a lot of business people have to make all the time. And then kindness. They said kindness is one of the most important qualities to have on a moral compass as well. Last article here says the moral compass. It says that compasses are consistent and true indicators, and that's how we have to have our moral compass as well. That's why morality fits so well into it, because it needs to be consistent and true. Everybody's compass is different. Society tends to go in the opposite direction of an acceptable moral compass in order to gain wealth, popularity, etc. We just got to be conscious of what society is doing. Is it for the right reasons? Because a lot of people will sacrifice their own morality to gain wealth, for example. Many people believe that truth changes as the times change. I don't personally believe that, but I know a lot of people do. Religion may have a basis for a true north, but not all religions have the same values. So you can't really base your morality off of a religion because not everyone has the same religion, or some people don't have religion at all. Unless there is a single source of authority, a clear difference between right and wrong will never be possible. And I don't think we really want a single source of authority. So the moral compass will always then be kind of dependent upon who you are and how you were raised. Okay, so integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. I had to put that at the top. I know it's supposed to be only images on this page, but I just like that quote too much to leave it out, and I think it fits perfectly. It's a C.S. Lewis quote. On my moral compass, I think honesty is probably one of the main three ideas that I like to list as important to me. Also, fairness. I have fairness as another one. Being fair with myself, being fair with my students, and being fair with the people that I love. Just you have to be fair. Otherwise, somebody is always hurt. I have a Bible in my moral compass too. That's where I get a lot of my morality from, including honesty and fairness. I think the Bible does a good job of displaying those in there, and that's kind of where that comes from. Empathy is the next one that I have listed here. Being empathetic. It was stated in one of my previous slides that that's one of the most important things to have on your moral compass. And then lastly, I've got teamwork and collaboration and community. That's kind of all wrapped up into one here, one little image there, being able to work together with others and helping each other out. This is my reference slide and my addendum. My standard correlation, this assignment related to the standard by first analyzing what it takes to have good ethical behavior, but then also by being able to model it with a moral compass. By creating a moral compass of my own, I was able to relate the material to my own life. The relevance of this was prominent in my profession because as a teacher, my day is packed full of ethical decisions and passing my ethical beliefs down to students in a way that they can make decisions of their own. Reflection. This assignment talked about having a moral compass, which seems like an easy concept to grasp, but it is difficult for some people to create a moral compass if they do not know what is most important to them. Empathy, honesty, and fairness stand central in my compass. That is it for this slideshow. Thank you for watching.